In the first two lectures, I shared with you the elusive subconscious and the free will that is just a byproduct. When we use these two concepts to understand ourselves, there will be a great deviation. So, how can we understand ourselves? This is the theme of our lecture today. Who knows you better? Is it yourself or a stranger? Illusion, I know myself best. When you hear this question, I believe your answer is very decisive. Of course, I know myself better, and I am the person who knows myself best in the world. The reason behind your confidence actually has deep psychological reasons, which can be summarized into 3 points. The first reason is narcissism. In Greek mythology, there was a handsome young man named Narcissus, who was very proud of his good looks. The beautiful forest nymph Echo fell in love with him, but he rejected her without hesitation because he loved himself more and liked to look at his own reflection in the water. Day after day, year after year, Narcissus fell in love with his own reflection and eventually turned into a narcissus flower by the water. Of course, we are not Narcissus, but everyone is more or less narcissistic. The degree of attention to oneself is always a little more than that to others. Do you remember the spotlight effect I mentioned in the second lecture? No matter where you are, you will always think that the spotlight is always on you. The second reason is history. A stranger does not know whether you are a man or a woman, what kind of work you are doing, let alone your family background, the elementary, middle, and high schools you attended, your first love, and all the ups and downs you have experienced. How can someone who knows nothing about you understand you better? The third reason is introspection, self-reflection. To further explain, even brothers and sisters who grew up with you, who have the same family, elementary, middle, and high schools, and share the same history, you still insist that you know yourself better. This is because they can only see your surface. They cannot see your inner world. Moreover, you can always insight into your own inner world and analyze the motives and reasons for your actions. Therefore, based on these 3 points, you would think that you are the person who knows yourself best in the world. But is it really like this? Come, let me invite you to participate in a psychological experiment. The task of the experiment is to choose the long stockings on the table. You will definitely observe the long stockings carefully and compare their differences. But in fact, before you make your choice, the psychologist already knows your answer. You usually pick up the stockings on the far right. Why? The answer is simple: because you are right-handed, and right-handed people are used to picking up things on the right, not on the left. This principle has a common application in business. In daily life, expensive and valuable things are usually placed where customers can touch them with their right hand, while cheap things are generally placed on the left side of the shelf. Therefore, in the previous experiment, you thought you were making a rational judgment based on your aesthetic taste. But I know that what really influenced your decision was just whether you were left-handed or right-handed. People judge their own state through their behavior. However, you can also say that most of the time, to accurately understand a person, you must understand their true thoughts in their inner world. As the saying goes, you can know a person's face, but not their heart. Although you know my face, only I know my heart. Therefore, I still know myself better. But unfortunately, we do not really understand our true thoughts in our inner world. Do you remember the subconscious that lurks in the dark and can only be revealed by analyzing dreams? Do you remember the free will that we thought we controlled everything but was just a byproduct? I want to tell you that when we observe our inner state, we are actually only observing our behavior, expressions, movements, and physiological states to understand what kind of psychological state we are in. Embodied cognition, cartoon picture experiment. Here, I want to share with you 2 very classic psychological experiments. In the first experiment, psychologists invited participants to the laboratory and showed them some cartoon images. asking them to rate the level of humor in each image. The psychologists randomly divided the participants into two groups. One group was instructed to hold a pen between their lips without touching their teeth, while the other group was instructed to hold the pen between their teeth without touching their lips. Clearly, whether the participants held the pen with their lips or teeth had no bearing on their ability to judge the humor of the cartoon images. However, the results of the experiment showed that those who held the pen with their teeth found the images to be funnier and more interesting, while those who held the pen with their lips found the images to be completely unfunny. Why is this? If you have a pen nearby, try holding it first with your lips and then with your teeth. When you hold a pen with your lips are pursed. What expression does pursed lips convey? Think of a pouting child, they are actually angry and unhappy. On the other hand, when you hold a pen with your teeth, you are smiling. Therefore, when you hold a pen with your teeth, you are smiling, and you will find the cartoon images funnier. This experiment also teaches us a life hack. When you are feeling unhappy, try biting a pen with your teeth. In summary, whether cartoon images are funny or not is not based on logical reasoning, but rather on our own facial expressions. This is known as embodied cognition in psychology, which means that we use physical experiences to activate our mental feelings. Embodied cognition, the suspension bridge experiment. In the following experiment, which is the second one mentioned earlier, this point will be further demonstrated. Imagine meeting a girl in two different scenarios. The first scenario is on a wide and sturdy bridge close to the water surface. The second scenario is on a suspension bridge that is 100 meters high and constantly swaying, which looks very dangerous. Which scenario do you think would make the girl more attractive and appealing to you? Logically, it is the same girl, so no matter where or in what situation you meet her, you should find her equally attractive. However, you would think that meeting the girl on a suspension bridge 100 meters high, in this dangerous place, would be more attractive and appealing to you. Why? The reason is simple. When you stand on a suspension bridge that is 100 meters high and swaying, you become nervous, you sweat, your heart rate increases, and your adrenaline is secreted in large amounts. When you see the girl, you do not think that your increased heart rate, sweating, and adrenaline secretion are due to your fear of the bridge. You mistakenly attribute these physiological reactions to the girl, thinking that she is the reason for your increased heart rate, rapid breathing, and sweaty palms. Even after walking on the bridge for a long time, you still find that your heart rate is fast and your sweat glands are still secreting. You will think that this girl really attracts you. In fact, you may not know whether this girl really attracts you or not. Your current physical condition affects your judgment. Therefore, when you are in love, do not take your girlfriend or boyfriend to watch a relaxing romance movie, but go watch a horror movie instead.